What's going on, y'all? In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to play and set up Lanterns Dice, Lights in the Sky. In this game, it is the Harvest Festival, and you are trying to build the best fireworks display that you can to try and impress the Emperor. So let's take this up to the top, and I'll show you how to set the game up. Then we'll come back over here, and I'll show you how to play. So to set the game up, first you're going to give each player a score sheet, and each score sheet will have a letter on it. So A, B, C, then D. So we'll give those out. Then you'll give each player a turn sequence card. Has how the turns go: roll dice, shade lanterns, perform one emperor action. Then on the back it has the features: pavilions, platforms, and boats. So each player will get one of these. Here, here, and these two. Then you take the emperor action cards, and you want to place them with the A side up. And then for future games, you want to just randomize which side they are. So we'll go ahead and place these down here. Then you will choose 4 of the 8 firework tiles and put the 6 tiles in descending order. So each firework display has 6 different tiles, and you will place them in descending order. So 6, 5, 4, those. Then we have 4, 3, 2, and you'll just continue that way with the rest of the firework tiles. Now for the first game, it is recommended to play with these first 4, and for future games, you could just select 1 small shape, 2 medium shapes, and then a large shape. And you want to make sure the dice tray and dice are in reach of all players. And then each player will prepare their score sheet. So what that means is, depending on the amount of players you have, you will cross out a number of lanterns on the right side of the score sheet. So for 2 players, each player would get 10 turns each. So you would have this row and this row that would not be crossed out. And you would cross out this right up here, the 7 and the 8. Now if you're playing with 3 players, they would each get 8 turns each. So you would have this row and this row that are not crossed out, and then you would cross out this down here for the 2 players area. And then for 4 players, they would each get 6 turns each, so you would cross out this row and then this row right here. And if you see, they're both separated, but you would cross them both out, and you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turns left, which each player gets in a 4-player game. Let me go and explain the score sheet to you. So each of these triangular areas are part of a pool inside of a lake. So a pool is 2 triangular areas making up a square inside of the lake. Then we have over here the turn bonuses area, which we talked a little bit about earlier. But this is where you're going to track the turns you take. And of course, the number of turns you take depends on the amount of players in the game. So of course, for 2 players, 10 turns each. For 3 players, 8 turns each, and then for 4 players, you get 6 turns each. And then every time you cross it out, the active player gets a bonus in that area. So say it's your turn, you're doing a 2-player game, and you would cross out the first one, and you would be able to shade in a color matching the turn bonus color. So right here, we would scratch this out, and then we would be able to shade in a color matching that one. So we would shade in a blue part of a pool, and that's how the turn bonuses work. Then we have down here is where you track the gifts you earn. I'll talk about gifts a little bit later, but this is where you track the gifts. Every time you earn a gift, you're going to shade in the white area right in the center here. And then each player starts with 1 gift. So we have 1 is typically already shaded in on all these scoring sheets. So we have that there, that one here, that one here, and that one there. So those are the gifts. Let me go and explain the features of the lake and how to earn gifts. So there are 3 features in the lake. There are pavilions, which are here. There are platforms, which are here. And then we have the boats. These are the boats here. So pavilions are these little yellow circles in the middle of a pool. Now what happens with the pavilion is every time you shade a lantern next to a pavilion, then you gain 1 gift from the Emperor. So we would come down here and collect our gift. And then that even happens when it's outside of your turn. So after somebody rolls a dice, they orient the tray, and then you shade in the die facing you, you would still get a gift if you shade in a lantern next to a pavilion. So let's give an example. If the white was facing you, and you shaded in the white area here, or gray as it is on the die, you shade that in, you would collect a gift, even though it's not your turn. Then we have the platforms. Platforms are these gray square areas in the middle of a pool spanning 2 lanterns. So every time you shade both of those lanterns with a platform in it, you get to shade an additional lantern in an adjacent pool. So for example, if we were to shade all of this, so we shade this orange one, then we shade this white one, you would get to shade an additional lantern in an adjacent pool. So this, of course, is an adjacent pool, this is also, and so is this. So if we're playing smart, we can go ahead and shade this one right here, and that'll give us an extra gift. So we'll go ahead and mark that down right here. And finally, we have the boats. So boats are relevant to final scoring. Now, you can still shade in a pool that contains a boat, but you only get points if the pool with the boat is left unshaded and the 4 areas around, the 4 pools around the boat are shaded. So of course, for example, we have this pool with the boat in it is left unshaded, and then we have the 4 adjacent pools are shaded in completely. And then on the other hand, if you were to shade in the pool containing the boat, and you also shaded in the 4 areas around the boat, you would not get points for that boat because that pool has been shaded in. And this is where you track your final score. And of course, I'll show you how to use that at the end of the video. So let's take this back up to the top and I'll show you how to play. So to start the game, if you remember, I talked about how each score sheet has a letter. You're going to be playing in that order. So the player with the earliest letter is going to go first. Of course, A, B, C, D. And on your turn, you're going to do 4 things. First, you're going to roll the dice. And you'll orient the tray whichever way best suits you. And then, of course, I'll talk about gifts a little bit more later, but you can spend 1 gift to re-roll all the dice. Then you're going to shade the lantern areas that match the die facing you. And then you'll also shade the turn bonus area that you're currently on. After that, you'll be able to spend gifts to buy 1 Emperor action and use it. And then, if you're able, you can place 1 fireworks display. So on your turn, you're going to roll the dice. Sometimes you got to shake it to have it set straight. And then if you want to, you may spend a gift to re-roll them. So do this. Again, you can shake it. And then you will orient the tray whichever way best suits you. So let's go ahead and orient it that way. And if you see here, the red is facing this player, the purple, this player, this purple is this player, and then right here I have the blue facing me. So I'll go ahead and shade in the blue area here. Shade this right here. And then I'll collect a gift because of the pavilion. And then you're also going to, so after you're done doing that, the other players will shade in a color matching the die that they're facing. So this player will shade in a red lantern. This player will shade in a purple lantern. And then they also get a gift for the pavilion. And then this player will shade in also a purple lantern. And again, they also get a gift. And then you are going to cross out the turn bonus. So the active player will cross out the turn bonus. Remember, right over here, these are the turn bonuses. So it is my turn right now, and I will cross out this orange right here. And then I will be able to shade in a lantern with the orange color. So I'll shade in this one, and I'll get to collect another gift. Then if you like, and you have enough gifts to do so, you may perform one Emperor action. The way you're going to do that is you're going to look at the Emperor card, Emperor action, which you want to purchase. And the purchase cost is right up here. So this one is 1, 2, and 3. So the way you use these, for example, this one says, shade one additional area matching your die. So if you remember, our area was the blue lantern, blue dice here. So if we use that Emperor action, we would cross out one of our gifts. So we would cross this out. And then we would shade one additional area matching your die. So we would shade another blue area. Shade this one in right here. And then I collect another gift. So do that. Or I can use any of the other ones. We also have shade one area of a color not shown on the dice. So the way you would do that is, so we have purple, red, and blue. And if I wanted to, I could shade in the green. And then again, that would be 2 gifts. So I would come down here, cross these out. And then there's also shade areas matching each of the 3 other dice. So I could potentially shade in 2 purple and a red. Then I would come down here, shade those in. And if I had enough gifts, I would cross those out. At the conclusion of your turn, you may launch one fireworks display. To do so, you must have a number of completed pulls matching the size and shape of the fireworks display you'd like to launch. For example, if you remember, we talked about how each lantern is part of a pull, and when you shade both lanterns, you complete a pull. So if you see right here, we have a number of completed pulls. So if I wanted to, I could launch pretty much any of these firework displays. So I would take one that I'd like to launch, and I would have to match it on those completed pulls. So we see here, I take the 6 in that shape. I can put it there. Now, if you need to, you can orient the firework display whichever way in order to fit. But again, if the pull is not complete, you may not place that fireworks display. So if I wanted to place it here, I couldn't because these 3 pulls are not completed, but I could place it up here. And that works because these are completed. Again, I could also place this one, so I could play that one here, or I could play this one, or this one. And then you may only launch one fireworks display at the end of each of your turns. So let's say I put this one here. Players will continue rolling dice, orienting the tray, using Emperor's actions and gifts until they have shaded their last turn bonus area. So remember, the turn bonuses are here. So say you've shaded all of the turn bonuses in a 4-player game. There will be one more round of players placing firework tiles if they're able to. There will be no more rolling dice, using Emperor actions, or using any gifts. All you're going to be doing is, if you're able to, placing another firework tile. The last thing players will do is add up their total score. And the way you'll do that is there are 3 scoring areas. So the first scoring area is firework displays. So you will add up the total points on the firework displays you were able to launch. So we see here, this right here, this is 6, 5, that's 11, and 4, that's 15, that's 18. So we would put 18 right here. The second scoring way is the second largest group of completed pulls. So remember, each lantern is half of a pull, and when you shade both lanterns, that's a completed pull. So the second largest grouping of completed pulls is in a continuous group with other completed pulls that are adjacent to it. Ignore your largest group of completed pulls, score 1 honor point for each completed pull in your second largest grouping. So for example, I know that's a lot, but for example, if you have this pull here is completed along with this one and this one, all of these are completed, then you see this one is not completed, so you wouldn't count that in this group, as well as this one's not completed and this one's not. Well, this one is completed, but it's not connected to the group. So we would add this one up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then over here in this group, we have, so we wouldn't start here because that pool is not completed. We would start here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Again, these are not completed, so you would not count these. So you have 10 here and 12 here. Second largest group would be 10, so 10 points. And then, of course, if you have firework tiles laying on top of pools, those also count against your score. So when you're counting your second largest pools, you would just remove the firework tiles and add up the score. Then the last scoring area is the boats. So if you remember, we talked about how boats were relevant to scoring earlier in the game. So if you shade an area containing a boat, then you won't be able to get points for it, even if you shade the areas surrounding the boat. But if you shade the areas surrounding the boat and you do not shade the area containing the boat, you get 4 points. So you get 4 points for each boat in an unshaded pool, but each pool surrounding the boat must be shaded. So for this boat, we would get 4 points. To get the final score, you will add up all 3 scoring areas. So you will add up the firework tiles area, the second largest grouping of shaded pools area, and then the boats area. The player with the highest score impresses the emperor. If there's a tie, the player with the highest score according to firework tiles impresses the emperor. If there's still a tie, all those who tied impress the emperor. If you enjoyed watching this video and you want to see more board game videos, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. I'll be posting more videos every week. You can also find me on Twitter, and I'll be posting that in the description below. Thanks for watching The Other Board Gamer.